Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor is a better game than it had any right to be. While the license of the Lord of the Rings universe hasn't been heavily utilized beyond the blockbusters of Peter Jackson's original film trilogy, there's since been an MMO, a couple of action RPGs, and of course, the LEGO games. While selling well enough, these titles can largely attribute their success to the fanbase and renown of their source material, because critically, against titles such as World of Warcraft, Bayonetta, or LEGO Marvel Superheroes, they've left a lot to be desired. While most assumed Shadow of Mordor would follow suit as a cash-in on the franchise's popularity, Monolith Studios have gone above and beyond creating a new IP that takes full advantage of its universe, implements a wholly refined combat system, and has set a new bar for how we interact with NPCs in games.
That dumb brute is no match for me! Release it!
Players step into the role of the recently widowed Ranger Talion, a soldier of Gondor out for revenge after he and his family are murdered by the Black Hand of Sauron and his band of Uruks. Talion soon finds companionship and a common cause for chaos with Celebrimbor, a wraith who inhabits your body with mysterious ties to the Ring of Power, which of course sets in motion the events of the books and films. Witnessing the brutality of the attack and the ruthlessness of the antagonist creates a strong incentive for the player to seek vengeance and lay waste to the Uruk army. A lot of waste. After a few introductory tutorials on basic combat and stealth mechanics, Talion is free to explore a Mordor full of collectibles, side missions, and terrifying creatures who show very little preference in whether human or Uruk is on the menu.
Ghouls! They will pick the meat from our bones!
Mordor is a dark and dreary place, thankfully contrasted by how much the combat shines. Obviously drawing inspiration from the Arkham series, the game plays as if Batman had decided to never leave the League of Shadows and break his one rule a couple thousand times. You have your counters, stuns, dodge, and attack buttons, complete with a combo counter that allows for stronger knockouts the larger it gets. Various enemy types require different strategies to effectively fight back, and special powers like exploding a campfire can save you in a pinch. Button mashing will get you nowhere fast, leaving you running for the hills for health replenishing herbs, or a boasting Uruk taunting your half-lifeless corpse. If you foolishly try to take on an army of 20 or more Uruks before you've had the chance to unlock some abilities to power up your character, you're not going to avenge anyone.
You're a brave one if you think you can take me on.
If you are killed, a few hours pass in-game and all of your enemies become stronger. It's rare that a game encourages you to embrace the idea of retreating to live to fight another day, but sometimes it's the best option. Savvy players who stick to the rooftops to stalk their enemies have the best chance for success when you're still adjusting to your newfound powers as a perpetually back from the dead badass. One of the reasons combat is so satisfying in Shadow of Mordor is your progression from a mere ranger with a sword to nearly unstoppable phantom juggernaut. Nearly everything you do throughout your day-to-day killing sprees gives you some form of XP to increase your health, wraith power meter, focus while shooting arrows, and then a certain amount of XP also gains you an ability point. Divided into two sections, think of these as perks that buff your abilities as a ranger, and conversely, outfit your omnipresent entity with new powers. Each point you acquire allows you to unlock a new link in a line of upgrades. The best part about this system is that no ability seems like an afterthought thrown in to max out playtime. I ended up using each power to its utmost effect, leveraging everything in my arsenal to clear out enemy bases and camps. Some say one of the biggest reasons video games are so popular is that it allows us to live out power fantasies, and Shadow of Mordor does nothing to counter that analysis. There are few things more satisfying than silently taking out an entire encampment without being spotted, or using Shadow Strike to leap from enemy to enemy while the stragglers try to wrap their soon-to-be dismembered heads around what's going on. By the time you're fully powered up, taking on an entire armada of Uruks is a challenging, invigorating experience, provided you play your cards right, of course. What truly sets Shadow of Mordor apart from series like Arkham or Assassin's Creed is what they've aptly called the Nemesis system. Across the roaming plains are various members of the Uruk Horde with increased ranks and special attributes that affect how you must approach them. Some might be scared of fire or bees, some can only be damaged by performing execution moves with your combo meter, and if you're lucky, a few can be thwarted with a single headshot. While you can attack these higher-ups head-on, it's generally unadvisable, and you're going to miss out on the best part of the game. In order to exploit their weaknesses, you must read the minds of wandering Urks carrying intel, find scattered notes in enemy camps, or rescue human slaves who occasionally dish the dirt.
Thank you.
The game rewards careful planning of an attack, which can range from stalking your prey from the tops of towers to barraging through the front gates on a Caragor. Once you progress enough through the game, you're able to send officers to assassinate each other, allowing for some great mind games to be experimented with. Every one of these enemies carries a power rating, and can increase in rank if you don't interrupt various events they participate in across the world, such as feasts and executions. They can also get a big promotion if they end up killing Talion, the Gravewalker himself. The system is at the heart of Shadow of Mordor, and provided me with the best moments that anyone who plays can experience differently. After one Urk captain had gotten in my face, I overpowered him and used him to send a death threat to one of the war chiefs, the most powerful Urks in Sauron's army. After I took out the war chief, I sent the captain to warn the next one I was coming for him, and repeated this process until there were none left. Finally, when there was no hope for the captain, cowering on the brink of insanity as his bosses died off one by one, I finally put him out of his misery by essentially sucking out his soul. Every time I was killed, I made it a personal vendetta to immediately seek revenge on the one who had gotten me, and it's a powerful feeling watching a captain flee in fear as you take out his bodyguards in front of him. It's moments like these that really set the game apart from others in the genre, and made each encounter a different experience. Shadow of Mordor is a very good looking game, but the same can't be said for the landscape of the world itself. There's little incentive to explore, no mountains to climb, and other than a few crumbling castle structures, plains of dirt make up the bulk of the environment. That said, the atmosphere of the world leads to a very immersive experience. The Urks mumble to themselves about humans, taunt each other, and spread rumors of your exploits. The voice work in the game is another standout.
I heard that if you listen carefully at night, you can hear the sound of Mordor. Yeah, but only if you stick your ear to the ground.
Troy Baker, the Nolan North of the new generation, delivers another solid addition to his resume as Talion, and supporting characters nail Urk banter and threats. Special praise must be given to actor Liam O'Brien as well, for his portrayal of Gollum. I was sure Andy Serkis himself had given voiceover until I checked the credits. All of these factors lead to a cohesive experience, which makes you feel like you're truly beyond the Black Gate, immersed in the lore, and playing a part in Token's universe.
Come on, let's go before I change my mind.
Unfortunately, like the Assassin's Creed series, platforming and parkour can be a little imprecise at times. For the most part, it works, but I felt a huge sense of disappointment every time I planned out an attack, only to be spoiled by leaping onto the wrong target or getting stuck hanging to a wall. In addition, while killing Urks rarely got old, mission objectives left me fatigued at times when every side quest in the game involves the same combat or stealth mechanics. There would be times where I would just become bored after playing for a few hours and would have to come back later. This sentiment is especially felt when the game forces you to take down war chiefs sequentially in a series of assassinations. The ending of the game suffers from a result of this as well, an anticlimactic boss fight using the same tried and true tactics you've used before hundreds of times. There's a half-baked love story brewing behind all the slaughter that rounds out some of the cinematics, but it's nothing to detract from how much fun the game is to play overall. Tywin Lannister is considered a dastardly, conniving, yet extremely capable villain in Game of Thrones because of how he manipulates his enemies against each other and utilizes every strategical advantage he can to gain the upper hand.
My eyes are yours!
While many may loathe his character, you can't help yourself starting to feel and inevitably act like him while playing Shadow of Mordor. Aside from a few pacing and climbing issues, like the name implies, this game is snuck out of nowhere to become one of the top contenders for Game of the Year. Its gameplay is tight, perfectly challenging, and downright fun to play. Even if the game seems like a culmination of the best aspects of others before it, the Nemesis system and immersive world create an experience that will fit right at home with fans of Middle-earth, and feels remarkably refreshing for gamers already well-versed with its contemporaries.
The Gravewalker may give you hope, prisoner, but the Dark Lord will come for you all, and soon.